Greetings, Darklings, from across the interweb. It is once again I, the Duchess, Precious Ken, and here with the Sounds and Shadows podcast, I have an incredibly special guest, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But first, someone sent me a delicious treat in the mail, and I'm very excited to talk about it. What we have here is the Spotlight Volume 2 from one of my dear friends and favorite labels, Cold Transmission Music. And they put these out to just kind of go through all of the amazing bands that they have in dark wave, cold wave, post-punk, all of these things. And there is so much goodness on this at such a value and price. I'll fire through some. I'm gonna, because I'm old, I'm gonna take my glasses off so I can actually see the thing close up. But I am the Shadow. I mean, I always love me some Pedro. Secret French Postcards, Night Nail, love those boys. Silent Runners, I Am No One, Camlin. Those kids are so unbelievably talented. The Ending Nights, another Pedro project, Calais Ideal, White Mansion, Grey Gallows, The Gathering, Cruel Reflections, Marky Moon, Syzygics, Ultra Sun, Deadlights, Bedless Bones, Dead Astronauts, Cult of Elia. You're getting the idea. There is just so much goodness going on here. I will be doing a full review of this on Sounds and Shadows soon, and you need to check it out. It comes in this handsome double CD case. So now I have the opportunity to introduce, this is a fun story because this is someone who was the very first video interview we ever did for the Sounds and Shadows podcast. And back then, yeah, before I had Katie to bail me out, I sucked so much at technology, I just sent them questions and then they recorded themselves doing the answers on video. We've come a long way, baby, a long way. Well, mainly yeah. Katie just came along and fixed it for us. But with me right now is Caitlin Stokes of Corlyx. Caitlin, welcome.
Hello, and thanks for having me again with your
I'm
new and improved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm in Italy right now, so it's 11 p.m.
Are you there doing a show or anything going on, or are you just there living your best life?
Yeah, I'm just living my best life. Awesome. Brandon has family here, so we like to run away from the UK and come here and just relax when we can. The UK right now is just a little bit of a mess.
A little dicey.
There's like shortages and with Brexit and then like the pandemic and everything. It's been a bit of a struggle there. So we just flew back to Italy and we're here for a little bit.
I gotta say, I mean, especially with you and Brandon are just two of those like absurdly almost alien attractive human beings jetting all over the world and like living this this awesome rock life that I don't know, that's the part of it that makes me usually I'm like, when I see people going out on tour and out on show and I think about myself, I'm like, no, I'll just be here in my jams with my cats and Rachel if you need me. But like you guys are ones that sometimes when I see it, I'm like, now that makes it look cool. So I want to start out. Tell me a little bit about the history of how Corlyx came into being, because you guys are a band that I feel like I kind of was there near the beginning of, and I followed you in your career and just watched you grow and blossom and get better and bigger. Yes. And so I love seeing that. But tell my viewers a little bit about your history, how it came to be, because it's such a great story of traveling around the world.
Well, it comes with its challenges. I mean, I'd have to say, like, when you stay put in one city, you can build a fan base a lot easier because, you know, you're the locals and you build this way. And I have noticed, like, we've only been in the UK for a little over 2 years, and it's still hard to compete with people that grew up there. And they're getting all the, like, best opening slots for bigger acts that come into town. So, you know, it's harder in that sense, but then I like to think of it as like we're on like a continual tour, like forever, because we just keep like moving from country to country. We started off in LA, that's where we met, and then moved to Italy, then we moved to Berlin for 3 years, and then we moved to the UK for 2 years. Now we're back in Italy for a little bit, a couple months, but I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure where we're going after this, or if we're staying, or I don't know. But
do you even bother to think it through, or are you just kind of
no,
tripping the life fantastic through the night wherever the wind blows?
Like when we left LA, he just like asked me like, "Do you want to move to Europe?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Obviously,
and it was just like
as one does.
A couple weeks. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's get out of here. It's too expensive. And then when we were in Berlin, we were just like having the best time. But then like we had a few language barrier stuff that started to really like pile up. And we're just like, oh man, you know, if we're going to stay here, we like really need to speak German fluently. And that doesn't look like it's happening. So, because we just don't have time for it. So,
see, I found I never got the chance. That was my problem when I was in Germany, is I practiced hard at German and no one would let me speak it because they're such efficient people. Like I would start to stumble through German. They'd be like, I speak perfect English. Please shut the fuck up and just tell me what it is that you want, because I don't have time for you to bumble through this.
Yeah, especially in Berlin too. Like there's so many English speakers there. It's very like mixed city.
Yeah.
So yeah, but still you get like letters in the mail and it's in German and you're like, oh, what is this threatening letter? Like
when it came to something legal, that would be very important. You're dead on right. Not just buying a beer. Like, got it.
Right, exactly. Like you can get by day to day, and that's why we were there for 3 years, because that part was easy, but it was just like really integrating and getting like into that. It became really apparent that we needed to speak German. So, you know, and some people never learn. I mean, there's people there who've been there for 10 years and they're like, I don't speak German. And you're like, what? So it can be done, but you know, I like to be able to really integrate into a country if I'm living there. So
it's respectful, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm taking Italian lessons. I mean, I'm like forever learning Italian, so that's like.
Are you gonna hit us with a little Italian phrase or something?
Don't put me on the spot right now. My
fair enough. All right, I'm gonna let you off on that. I'll just you know, I'll take and splice in the a different interview of an Italian band and just, you know, make it look like you're a pro in there. Just drop it right in like you just said it, like Ash Code. I'll just drop a little Ash Code in real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Certo. Yeah, Ash Code are great. Actually, I wanna hit them up at some point because they're in the South. I'm in the North right now, so but yeah, that would be fun to like play a gig with them.
They're amazing and adorable and just the sweetest.
They're so cute. And I love their clothing brand, Gothic Cat. I don't know if you know that's them. Yeah, they're like so good with that stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
Anything to do with cats, like I'm in. I'm sold.
I mean, I'm a big cat guy, you know, so of course.
Yeah. Speaking of which, like my cat stepped on a bee today outside, and like her little paw like swole up like so big. It looked like a cartoon character paw. And I had to like rush her to the vet. It was like this whole situation, but she's doing okay now.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and glad to hear that you were able to make it back. But if you would have said to me, Ken, I'm sorry, the cat takes precedence, I would have been like, of course it does. Cancel the fucking interview. We're done here.
Of course. Yeah, no, she's doing better. I like soaked her paw in ice water, so she feels better.
See, my cat, you know, Freya, that you had a ESA, electronic substance abuse remix on the album for my cat Freya to save her. So thank you again for that.
That's right.
She always has 7 toes, so her paws look like they were always stung by a bee because she has giant catcher mitts all the time of her 3 legs.
I'm glad that worked out. That was fun.
Yes, she's doing wonderful. So tell me about you and Brandon then. You met in LA and you started to put this together. I think one of the early things for you guys, you did a cover of 9 Inch Nails' Reptile. Right? Yep.
Yeah.
And
that like I first wanted to do like more like industrial electronic music, and then Of course, I'm a longtime fan of Nine Inch Nails, and that's probably like one of my favorite songs because it just like means so much to
It's a
my
jam.
youth.
That's a jam.
Yeah, you know, and that song, yeah, I love the way it turned out. Looking back on it now, like I'm so proud of it, but I would definitely change a few things if I were to get into it again now at this stage in my life of being like the level I am of a producer I am now. I would definitely change a few things, but yeah, it still works. People are still watching it, so
for sure. So then you guys did your next EP, and was that over in LA or did you record that one in Germany?
Our first EP was called One of Us.
Yep.
And that was made in Italy.
Italy, okay.
And yeah, and I actually took it down a long time ago. But maybe I'll put it back up. Actually, you know what I've been thinking? So I took down a few of our very first works, including our first record that we made in Berlin, Music 2F2.
Yes.
And I'm going to like rework them, remix and master them. Well, Brandon is going to remix and master them. And yeah, we're gonna put those out again, maybe next year.
I love that. And I've seen more bands do that. Like I know Pedro just did that with some I Am the Shadow stuff that I was on. And it's wonderful to see, like you said, you put out that music and it was your heart in that moment. And it meant a lot to you then. But you aren't the same person 5 years later, 6 years later. And you've learned so much. You've grown so much. And sometimes whether that's in the lyrics or sometimes that's just in your production capabilities, like you said, and getting able to finally realize the vision that you had of what those songs were back then. And now you have the chops to make that happen. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, like we didn't really know what we were doing, like as far as a lot of things. But we just like we were having fun and we wanted to do it, and it was like more of a passion. But once we like crossed a certain like stage in we realized like, oh, this is actually turning into kind of a career. So we should focus on this a little more. And then, you know, you just learn as you go. Like I would tell anyone, it doesn't matter what you're doing or how bad it sucks, just keep going and you'll get better, because that's like the 10,000 hour rule, right? Like you'll just get better. And if you have even just a little bit of talent, just nurture that talent and, you know, learn from each release you do. Like I know a lot of talented people that make music and they never release it and they just like hold on to it because like they have all this, you know,
anxiety around it or what have you.
Or whatever. They're comparing themselves to it. Just put it out. Like put it out. Someone will like it. Lots of people may like it. And then you can next year put out something else. And
I think that's the biggest thing.
People will like it.
Or even like you talking about right now. I could come back to this in 5 years and I could always redo it. You know what I mean? And have it be the thing I want. And I love you saying that. Go ahead.
And also like, it's like there were some really great ideas on our first couple of works, like really, really good. I actually just like recently revisited them. And I'm like, wow, this was really freaking creative. It just was put together, not so great. But there's some like really good stuff in here. So I'm excited to rework some of that stuff. And you know, there's some people that listen to it and they love it like the way it is. And that's great too. So why not?
Like there's more than one reason, you know, to like something, like, you know, whether it's for like you said, the lyrics or the emotional impact, but then the production is a part of that too. And like I love me some dirty punk rock. And I love some overproduced prog rock too. And I like them for different reasons, but they can both have value. So the thing I want to ask you next is, with this new album, it was, you're right, a night and day different step in production and where you went with it. what do you feel is the thing that you changed or grew the most? One, as Corlyx with the both of you, and then two,
Yeah.
you as a singer in particular.
Well, I got a better microphone for one.
That helps.
So I got like a good quality mic. Like our first two albums are recorded with literally like a performance microphone. It wasn't even a studio mic. So you can imagine the quality there. So yeah, I definitely stepped up that way. I also learned the difference between singing live and recording technique. Like I really played around with a lot of different tones and like projecting a little bit less and like preserving the sort of sweet tone I have. So I played around with that a little bit. I don't think I became like a better singer, but I think I just learned how to record better, if that makes sense.
But that's a huge part of it.
Yeah. Because I didn't really have any instruction, and I was just kind of like, well, this is the way I sing, and then I just would sing it. And not that it was bad, but when I listen back, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have tracked that way. And now I know the difference after like 3 albums.
Well, I know in your particular, like, you have perfect pitch, right? I think we've talked about this before, and like
I don't use auto-tune or anything like that.
Yeah.
But live, I still have like a lot of work to do because I'm not perfect live. I don't think a lot of people are, but
yeah, I guess I just meant, yeah, you had a lot of talent to start with in terms of your voice actually sounding that way. So a lot of the growth that you would do would be, like you said, around how you get that on tape, because that is a technique that has to be learned. And sometimes when you come out the gate with a good sound already, it can be harder to force yourself to say, okay, I have to pay attention to the fact that my face needs to be exactly 6.3 inches from this mic when I sing at this volume, and 8.1 inches when I sing at this volume. Like, there is a very professional technique that comes into play on that. And sometimes when you just sound good, it's easy to be like, yeah, but I know how to sing. Like, why are you telling me that?
Yeah, like, I'm a singer. I'm just going to go in there and kill it. Yeah, absolutely. And also not being afraid to, like, how I write music, will compose the song in the studio here, and I'll go into the vocal booth and write lyrics and a melody while I'm tracking, and that actually ends up being the final vocal on the album. Yeah. So, like, I don't know anyone else who does it that way, but that to me is just the most spontaneous and natural way. And perhaps if I learned the song first and then recorded myself, it would be better. But I like that I do it this way because I just feel like it's a little bit more creative to just like track while I'm writing, and then that's it. Like, that's the song. Like, that's what you get.
I use that somewhat. I don't usually use a first take always like that. You know, I'll go, but I always record while I'm writing and do the same thing, because you never know what you're going to get out of it. And aside from that, like you said, it's just how your head works. Like, you have this different inflection and creativity when you're spitting, you know, like when you're just kind of coming with it. So no, I love that. And I love that sometimes I feel like I'm the only person who does that, but that's awesome.
No, and it's great. And I also know a lot of singers who are like professionally trained, and they will, you know, because we work with a lot of other artists, we produce them and, you know, track them, and, you know, that's something we've been doing for the last couple of years. But I see the way, like, they write the song, then they rehearse it, and then they sing it over and over and over, and then that's the demo vocal. Then they want to come back and retrack all over again, and I'm like, your demo vocal sounded great. Like, you don't need to retrack it. No, that was the demo vocal. I can do it better. and then they come back in the studio and it's like, it's not better. Like, it's the same.
I think that there is something a lot to be said for, honestly, if you don't get it in like the first 3 or 4 takes, it's going to be in the first 2 takes that your best take was. Like, a lot of people don't appreciate it, but I think that's dead on true. So you brought up something a second ago that I want to move into and talk to, is that you have done a lot of amazing collaborations. You know, we talked about earlier with Jamie and ESA, one of my, I think that's my favorite. I love a lot of ESA songs, and that one's my favorite, the one that you guys do together. And the video is just phenomenal, outstanding. I love
that video.
but you've worked with a lot of people like this and bigger names in it. Tell me about some of the excitement that you get out of doing a collaboration with someone. I mean, you already have Brandon, who's just so talented and, you know, such a great songwriter. But then when you get to step outside of that and kind of use your chops in a different way or different style than maybe you and Brandon do together, tell me about how that's fun and some of the people that you've worked with recently.
Recently, we just collaborated with Vigo, and we put out a song called Raindrops, and like, that was just a very natural collaboration. Like, we were following each other on social media, and we were like, oh, we live in the same town
area,
and
the town of London.
No, it's actually Hove. We both live in Hove. So it's like a beach city an hour from London.
Oh, wow. Okay. I stand corrected. That is more of a town.
It is. Yeah, it's a little town. So we're like, oh, what a coincidence. And he was like, well, we should collab one day. And I was like, well, actually, I just wrote this very like synth poppy song.
Yeah.
And like, your vocals would be perfect on this. And I sent him the track and he loved it. And he just like came the following week and tracked. And then I was like, well, we should also shoot a music video. What do you think about that? And I was like, I'll shoot it for you. Because I'm also doing music videos now.
We're gonna talk about that next.
Yeah, we should. And then he was just like, yeah, let's do it. And then I was like, okay, well, my idea is I'm gonna put a green screen in the shower. And he was like, okay, well, maybe you do that and I'll do just a regular green screen.
Wait, you put a green screen in the shower and like turned the water on for? I didn't know that's how you did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how I did it. And like all my makeup was just like running off, and I was like, the outtakes are so funny because I was like literally trying to lip sync, and I was like,
I did love that, the whole like Shirley Manson vibe you had going there, who, you know, is always one of your favorites.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, it was really just like a really great time working with him, and he was so just like up for anything, and he was just like, yeah, I'm here for you, like. And then he was just like, you deserve this. And you know, and then actually how I ended up signing with the same label as him, which is Out of Line, which is what we're on now, is I released The Echo with Negative Gain.
Yep.
I released that on Yami Specky's channel, which is like a pretty big goth YouTube channel.
Yes.
And it did really well on there. And I guess the president of Out of Line like saw it on that channel.
That's it.
And was like, who is this band? And then he like internet looked us up and saw that we were in Brighton Hove, which is where Mark from Vigo lives. And then so he texted Mark and was like, hey, look what I discovered tonight. Do you know this band, Corlyx? And he was like, well, I actually just tracked a collab with them last week. And it was like, literally, it was just like, oh, he was like, oh, well, that's great. And then he just, he emailed me and made us an offer. I like just couldn't refuse. Sure. And so, yeah, that's how that happened.
I love that. I love when a plan comes together.
Yeah, it was really, and it's been going really, really good with them. They are just like, they're trying to really build us, and I can
Yeah.
see that, like I can see that they are like, they
Invested
believe in
in you.
us, and they're,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're like really putting some eggs in our basket. And so I'm just like really thankful for that.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear. And
Yeah.
I love to, again, a band that I've been following for a while, when you see someone recognize that talent and want to push it to the moon, like that it's a
Yeah.
great feeling for everybody.
Yeah.
That I don't know, that the
Yeah.
labels are changing and they're starting to recognize, if someone is doing something unique and interesting, to want to get behind that and help grow it. So
Yeah.
that is incredible
Yeah.
to hear. So
Yeah.
a
And
moment ago,
it's,
oh,
yeah,
go ahead. I was going to say, a moment ago, you were talking about how you're starting to do music videos on this. And you've always had really cool music videos. Now, I know, like with Jamie, you did that one before, and Jamie always does just really involved, intense, super
Oh my
cool
God.
videos.
Yeah.
And maybe that's partially what kind of inspired you to get into this. But I've also always, with you, felt, I mean, again, you and Brandon are incredibly just attractive people that come off well, but you've also have style, both of you, and have always, to me, like even in promo shots or anything like that, had this like eye for really cool, like mixing fashion with the music, which when you talk about goth music or something, that's always got to be a part of it. And so what kind of led you to turn that into, I could be a producer of music videos and I want to not just do this for yourself, but take on other bands?
Yeah. Well, necessity is the mother of all invention. I didn't have the budget. I didn't have the budget to like make music, to pay directors,
sure,
for music videos. And I figured out a couple of years ago that if I was going to be a musician that produced content,
sure,
that I would need to start to learn how to do everything myself, and as much as I could myself.
Name of the
and
game.
That's from learning how to use Photoshop. I never knew how to do that.
Sure.
Like learning how to market, do SEO, how to do Google ads, how to do Facebook ads, learning how to style a photo shoot, how to light a photo shoot, to getting a camera, to learning how to use my camera, then to figuring out how to shoot music videos, how to use Final Cut, how to, make things look interesting. And so it's like I had to learn these things. And I tell everyone that I work with, like, I'm going to do this for you now, and I'm going to make your Facebook banners, and I'm going to do your album artwork, and, XYZ, we're going to produce your record. But like, I'm going to tell you everything that I'm doing, and I want you to learn, and I want you to watch tutorials. Like, I advise all my clients, like, you need to learn how to do this, because you're going to run out of money and you're never going to see that money back. Like, what you really need to spend money on is just like, where you can't avoid, is marketing your product, which is your content, your music. So you need to spend money on like your Google ads and your Facebook ads and your Spotify ads. And that's where you should only be. Like, everything else you need to just start making yourself. And I just can't recommend that enough for everyone. I know it's a lot to be like, oh, so now I need to be a graphic designer, a music video director, and a producer.
Yes, that is how it is now.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, but that is what it means. Unless you're a wealthy person, then, whatever. If you have a sugar daddy paying for everything, great. Like, make him pay. But if you don't, then you gotta, like, and it could take a while. It didn't just happen for me. Like, it took me years to learn all of these things. And like, I've really been working on it a lot. Like, every day I fuck around with my camera, or I watch a tutorial or something, and like, I can see I'm getting better and better. And I'm just like, oh wow, like, it's working.
I mean, that is the difference now. Like, my friend Stephen Archer of Stoneburner, I talked to
Yeah.
us about that in another interview. Just the biggest difference today, one of them at least, is all this shit is out there on YouTube and Google, and you can literally, if you want to put the time and energy into it, learn how to do anything, no matter how
Yes.
technical or how. You don't have to go to a 4-year university
No.
for sound recording and engineering anymore. Like, it's out
No.
there, and you
Yeah.
just have to like put in the time and have the heart to do it. And I think that's so awesome to like watch, not just how you've evolved as a performer, but as a producer of your content and yourself too.
Thank you.
To the point where you're teaching other people that.
Yeah. And I honestly, like, I love to work with other people. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think one of the best photo shoots I ever did was with another photographer. But of course, that day, like, we had a great studio, we had a great camera, we had great outfits, like, you know, and all I had to do was show up and model. So it is harder to like be like, okay, now I'm shooting my music videos, and like I'm also the director, and I also have to fix the lighting, and I also have to perform, and I also have to make sure my makeup is good. Like, you know,
you can't just have a vision or show up. You need to handle a lot of tiny little dials.
Yeah. And you know, and if you just forget like one thing, you're just like, oh my God, I fucked that up. And so,
and the responsibility,
you know,
it's all on you when that happens.
Yeah.
You got to go back and explain to the label, it was me who forgot this. You know, there's no one else to hold the bag.
Yeah. Or like, I have to redo it. Yeah. Or something like that. And so, you know, it's a process. And yeah, like sometimes I'll finish shooting and I'll be like, oh man, the camera wasn't focused perfectly in this shot. And like, I will just like murder myself for that. I'll just be like, no. So I'm definitely getting better with that. But like,
but also hopefully better at forgiving yourself.
Really yeah, absolutely. But some really exciting news I want to just like tell you first before I tell anyone else.
That's the Sounds to Shell's
exclusive. I just flew to Berlin a few days ago, and I got to shoot Chris Pohl from Blue Tangle, his next music video for She Hates Emotions, which is his side project, which is actually really great. It's like super 80s, and it's all him. And so I took photographs of him. He actually posted one today, but I also directed, shot, and edited the video that's coming out for that. So, and I also made a few cameos in the video. Of course, I inserted myself into that one.
You got it.
Yeah. I was like,
what was that like? What was it?
Video. And he
was
like,
he like to work with?
He's so sweet, very professional, and yeah, very easy to work with. And I think we're both like on the same page. And yeah, it was just like a total pleasure and super smooth. And yeah, he's just like really supportive. We got to open for them over Christmas in Berlin. And that was actually a really great honor because like we're just like Corlyx and it's like Blue Tangle, you know, like in Germany, it's like, it's a big deal.
Right. That's like Springsteen in New Jersey, like Blue Tangle in Germany.
Yeah. So you get it. So, and to this day, a lot of his fans have been hitting me up and they're like, really, really supportive. So yeah, it's just, it's awesome. So I'm really excited to be showcasing myself as a director, for someone this like big, and it's a really great opportunity for me. So I'm excited to see what everyone thinks of the video. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
That's amazing. I'm so excited to see that, and that's so cool for you. Was that when I was going to ask the question of what you're listening to right now, is that the one that you were thinking of, that it's going to be Blue Tangle is what you're listening to right now, that you wanted to shout out?
Well, that song isn't released yet, but of course I have been listening to it because I've been editing the video. But right now, like my Spotify, it's pretty much all actors. I mean,
I'm seeing them on Saturday. I'm going on Saturday to see Jason. And I've never seen them play with Kendall playing bass before. So I'm excited for that. And we're going to see actors and Josie Pace, another good friend of mine from Detroit, that
Nice.
is going to play with them. So I'm excited there.
I know
That's
Josie. We're like internet friends. I actually did a little interview with her on my Instagram. We went live together.
Josie's super sweet.
She's great. Like, I love her voice, and the new music sounds so cool. Like, those synths are so fat, like really, really cool
It
sound.
really is such a cool when you have two people from different sides of the spectrum. Where Josie started out as very much like acoustic singer-songwriter, and you know, three chords and a dream type stuff. And Ken Roberts, who does a lot of all of her music, is such a great producer, and he's been a part of the Detroit scene since I know he looks young, but like when I was just a wee little kid hanging out at like City Club, you know, in my early teens and stuff, Ken was a big part of that scene. So to see that kind of form up is really, really
so
cool.
I think like I didn't realize that she had this is her debut album.
Because it seems like when you talk to her, it seems like, wait, I feel like I've been listening to Josie for a long time.
I feel like,
it's true.
But that's so great. I'm so happy for her. And so a little bit about the new music we're doing. So Raindrops, it's definitely like a little synth pop. We went a little synth pop there. But then like the chorus kind of just goes into like, I don't even know if you want to call it a chorus. It's more of like there's like a break and then an outro and two verses. That's the song. But we kind of do this like shoegaze sort of thing and post-punky sort of thing. The rest of the record is pretty on the post-punk side, dark wave side. But then I also have another collaboration coming out with someone I can't say yet, but it's pretty much probably the biggest person I'll ever work with in my whole entire life. So I'm really excited for that. Never say never, yes, but they're also
Peter Murphy might be about to call you right now. You have no idea.
Well, it's almost on that level. So that's coming, and it's like this song is going to be very different from the whole album, but it's just a song I've had around for a little while, and I was waiting for like the right person. And it's more like a little more on the industrial side. So this album is going to be like a smorgasbord of genres.
I love that. I love when bands do that.
But it just
spread the spectrum.
That's what it is.
Beautiful. Do you have any other? So what is the approximate? Do you have release date for the new album coming up?
It'll be in summer. We're just going to release one more single, which is the next collab coming out that I was just talking about. And so after that, it will drop. And this summer. And I'll make another video. And
are you going to
I don't have the exact date, but
are you going to do the album cover art yourself again this time, or are you bringing somebody in for that?
You know what, it's already done. I've done everything already. Like the album's called Blood in the Disco, which also like I named the album Blood in the Disco literally a year ago, and then Nightclub came out with Die in the Disco, and I was like
we might be going to see them soon too in Cleveland. I'm excited. They're
great. I saw her open for Combi Christ actually.
Nice.
She's great. But like God, don't you hate that when it happens when you like come up with like I thought like Blood in the Disco was so great, and then like
Amaranth actually, we did a song called Blood on the Dance Floor way back, like I don't know, 1999 or something like that. And that creepy dude named his band that. And like, we won't even put that song out on anything now because I'm like, dang, that song is a jam. and this guy wrecked it for me with his taint. Ugh.
That's right. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like,
Whatever.
we're gonna run into these like crossover name situations. It's hard to navigate through.
It is a little tough. Like the Beatles basically wrote every chord structure from now until the end of time. So it's just us figuring out, what we've rehashed. So I hear you.
Yeah, that's fine.
This has been so amazing talking to you. And I'm glad that we got to do the real interview this time, because we just didn't have Katie to fix it for me before. I'm so excited for everything that you have coming up. And do you have any parting shots that you want to wish to our audience before we spin Raindrops featuring Corlyx and Mark Massive?
Wait, so do I have like any, like where we're performing perhaps?
Yes. Do you want to tell us about a show where people can see you live?
Yes, well, we have a show in London at Reptile coming up on April 9th. Then we have a show with Twin Tribes and
my boys, love them.
Yes, and that's in Brighton on June 11th, I think. Check my Instagram for that date, double check.
I'll make sure when we release the video, I'll have links to everything.
Okay, cool. And then we have Absolution Fest, which we're so honored to be a part of.
We almost forgot about this, but we can't skip through that fast, because the lineup for Absolution Fest this year is so freaking sick. Like,
we're so excited.
Tell me about some of the things that you're excited to play, some of the people you're excited to play with at Absolution.
Well, Hapax is definitely like someone I've been listening to like nonstop. And who else is playing? I'll have to look at the
Yeah. We will post the entire lineup to Absolution Fest, because it is, like, I was just talking with Mark Paradise, who sets Absolution Fest up, and going through, and he's trying to talk me this year into coming down for it. I might have to decide between
Empathy Test.
Empathy Test. I've never seen live.
They're also from the UK.
Yep.
And then who else is playing? Like it's almost midnight here, so I'm a little brain dead.
That's okay. But no, I am thinking about coming down for that and skipping Cold Waves this year. But I feel bad because like Cold Waves is my thing. But no, you've got Hapex, Crooks Lies, Empathy Test, Ford Resort, Bestial Mouths. I freaking love them.
Yes. Police, oh my God, love.
Syzygic. So a couple of, like we talked about, Cold Transmission bands. You guys, Die Robot, who it was Barbie's birthday yesterday and was just talking about. So just so many amazing bands for that. I am stoked.
Well, and you know what's so great about that is like my family lives in Tampa and in Sarasota. So like I'm like gonna go hang out with them and then like play a festival. Like this just works out wonderfully.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So for all of you guys out there in interweb land, thank you for joining us for the Sounds and Shadows podcast. This has been the interview with Corlyx, and this song coming up is called Raindrops. Everybody go check it out on Bandcamp and get that, and keep it dark, y'all.